A few weeks ago, I had a disgruntled commenter leave me an essay in the comments section, talking about how Star Citizen hasn't added any new gameplay in years. And I thought to myself, well, that's weird, I swear they've been adding some stuff. So after talking to this commenter for a little while and asking more about what they meant, I realized that their definition of gameplay and my own didn't even match. After consulting my own Discord server, which you can join in the video description below, I came to the conclusion this would be a good topic to introduce to the Star Citizen community as a whole and get everybody's opinions on it. So now, here we are. Let's discuss what the community actually calls new gameplay and whether that definition even matters. Thank you for coming to my Tomato Talk. Now, let's get something out of the way here because I know this is important to a lot of people. The person I responded to said, and I quote, "No gameplay in years." So I responded with examples of gameplay. Of course, this is when somebody else decided to jump into our conversation and talk about how there was no new gameplay. What was that? This. New gameplay in years. It's a different conversation, but a similar one. Now, let me start by stating my own belief on what constitutes gameplay. I believe a feature is a newly added, player-facing component that affects the way a player experiences the game. This could be anything from updated hype maps to a cargo manifest system. I believe gameplay is the actual interaction to the game that is being had, caused by the features. The actual act of experiencing the game, per se. Here's what Wikipedia says. It lists that gameplay is the specific way in which players interact with a game, and in particular with video games. While the definition of game features or mechanics is, game mechanics are the rules that guide the player's moves or actions, as well as the game's response to them. I don't know about you, but these definitions are pretty similar to mine. As a rule of thumb, I consider all gameplay to be caused by features, but not all features to include gameplay. That being said, the book author in the comments stated that new gameplay was only identified by professions, such as mining, refining, exploring, etc., and not necessarily variations of already existing gameplay. New missions, new mission givers, new armor, new weapons, new damage types, economic developments, the black market, bounty hunter changes, none of these things counted as new gameplay for them. And to an extent, I get where they're coming from. I don't really find myself all that inspired by most of the additions we've seen to the game this year. But I wouldn't necessarily say that means that no new gameplay has been implemented. So I wanted to see what you guys thought. I ran several Twitter polls throughout the month of November asking the community what they thought. If you're not following me on Twitter, you might consider doing so. It's down in the video description, and it's a good way to interact with our community and get your voice heard in these sort of opinion pieces and the videos that I make. Now, I asked a string of different questions about different topics. These topics included FPS cave mining, extreme weather in the player status system, turret and gunnery improvements, ICU respawns, the boarding party mission, and the law system. Results were mixed. While many believe these topics are features, the vast majority of votes named them as gameplay, and many also called them both. I think this actually represents an interesting point beyond whether or not CIG has even been implementing new gameplay. Rather, what do we call gameplay? And does it really matter? CIG has, up to the point of this recording, maintained a section of the roadmap called Gameplay, which features many things that may or may not be referred to as such. But with a game that is constantly ridiculed for a lack of gameplay, I think it's very interesting to see that the community may not necessarily be in agreement with what constitutes gameplay over just being another feature. But this does overwhelmingly show that the community does believe new gameplay is being implemented in different forms. User Pink from my Discord server says this: Everything that's specifically implemented in-game code is a feature. So the ability to spawn a mining laser from a tool had to be implemented as a feature, FPS mining as a general term, and not as a specific implementation is gameplay, but it needs special features. So I say both. This is in regards to FPS mining, if you didn't catch that. To drive a point home about how gameplay can be more than just the features, let's look at what you can do in terms of rock mining with a group of people that you couldn't do 3 months ago. With the new addition of the external inventories feature, you can now use a rock mining vehicle to mine minerals while still taking those minerals out and selling them separately of the person mining. This makes a big difference when you're trying to create a constant flow of income based on a mining operation that you and your team are running. We did this on my own stream you can find on the YouTube channel here, and while it wasn't that successful, the actual gameplay I'm talking about here wasn't possible without the feature of external inventories. Moving into 2021, a year that I think needs to see some major changes in gameplay to satisfy the fan base, I actually think it's worth it for the community to sit back and consider what they mean when they say they want gameplay. While my comment author may have been on a bit of a rant about, in many definitions, something different than just basic gameplay, they still had a point. Some people will not consider Star Citizen to be progressing without adding new professions to the game that bring entirely different methods of interacting with the game than anybody else has experienced yet. Whether or not that matters to the development and funding of Star Citizen is a different question entirely, but as a mature and intelligent community, I think we all should know exactly what it is we're asking for and how to express those thoughts. And I think CIG should convey exactly what they mean after looking at that when they say they're adding new gameplay to the game. Thank you for watching my latest opinion-filled essay on Star Citizen development, though I will say there were some stats in there to back it up. Besides cinematics, reviews, feature highlights, and news, I also enjoy making these opinion-driven essays on various parts of the game to get my thoughts out and spur some conversation in the community. If you enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe to this channel for more, or consider becoming a YouTube channel member where you can support me. Or, if you really would like to support me, you can hop on over to patreon.com where your dollar goes further, and you'll see some pretty decent perks like early videos, exclusive cinematic videos, and some additional giveaways here and there. Also consider hopping on over to Twitch where we play as a community on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and some Saturdays across a multitude of games. Star Citizen, Cyberpunk, Halo, Satisfactory, you name it, we'll probably play it. We also do a ton of giveaways over there like the recent Mercury Star Runner giveaway and the ongoing Nomad giveaways we're doing now. But enough of that. Thank you guys for checking this video out, and I'll catch you all next time.